Behind every woman's eyes, there's a past no man fully sees. It's not her history that breaks him. It's his blindness to what it really means. There are rooms in her mind where no footsteps echo anymore, but the air still carries the weight of everything lived and lost. This is the hidden power of a woman's past. Not something to erase, not something to own, but something few have the courage to understand. In the pursuit of a perfect love, many lose the only thing real, the chance to stand with someone who has survived her own storms. Stoic wisdom whispers, true strength in relationships is not built by rewriting someone's story, but by meeting their shadows without trembling. Today we walk through those invisible doors to face what most pretend not to see. When a man tries to own what he cannot control, it was said that Marcus Aurelius, even as Emperor of Rome, did not demand purity from those he loved. He demanded clarity from himself. He knew no life is untouched, no soul is without shadow, and to expect otherwise is to live in madness. Yet today, many men live blind, not to a woman's history, but to their own hunger for control. They do not fear the lovers she had, the choices she made, the scars time etched into her skin. They fear the truth those scars expose, that love cannot be guaranteed, that loyalty cannot be bought, that life is not a script they can edit at will. A woman's past does not condemn her. It condemns the fantasy in the mind of the man who cannot bear reality. Stoic wisdom cuts deeper than comfort. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus, it is not the woman who must erase her life. It is the man who must erase his illusions. A man who fears a woman's past is a man who has not yet conquered his own future. He sees a memory he cannot own, and instead of standing firm, he collapses inward, building walls, asking for guarantees, worshiping the impossible idea of purity over the raw, trembling miracle of living. Reality does not bend to the smallness of his fear. It stands towering, like the mountains Marcus once gazed upon, unmoved, unafraid, unconquered. The man who demands a perfect story dies a little each day, mourning a life that was never his to edit. Memory, the fire that shapes her soul. Seneca once wrote, "The fire that softens iron, hardens clay. It is not the fire's fault, but the nature of the material." Memory is that fire. In one woman, it kindles compassion, wisdom, and depth. In another, it forges resentment, fear, and walls. It is not the memory that defines her. It is what the fire has made of her soul. Many men glance at a woman's past and assume they understand its weight. They measure it like a transaction. How many lovers? How many scars? How many mistakes? But the past is not counted in numbers. It is counted in transformations. Two women could walk the same road. One becomes bitter, the other radiant. Pain does not guarantee wisdom. Survival does not guarantee growth. The hidden power of a woman's past is not the events themselves, but the silent energy she carries forward from them. A woman whose memory has become light will not collapse into you. She will stand beside you, not to complete her, but because she has already become complete within herself. Stoic wisdom reminds, it is not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. Epictetus, to fear her memories is to miss the energy they could ignite. For the man who can meet her fire without flinching, she does not burn. She illuminates. The Stoic eye, seeing without fear. A weak man demands a perfect past, A strong man demands a clear present. Fear is a fog. It clouds the eyes, bends the truth, and turns memory into a weapon. But the Stoic sees through the fog. He knows nothing that happened yesterday can chain the soul today, unless you kneel before it. Her past is not your enemy. Your weakness is. Every scar she carries, every tear she has buried, none of it touches your mind unless you surrender it. None of it wounds your heart unless you open the door yourself. Stoic wisdom demands brutality, not against others, against illusions. Epictetus taught, when you blame others, you give up your power. When you blame yourself, you begin to change. The man who fears her story has already surrendered, not to her, but to the fiction he wrote in his own mind. A Stoic asks no one to erase their past. He asks himself, can I stand in the fire and not flinch? That is the only test, the only victory. Her past, a mirror of your presence. There is a rage inside every man, not against her, but against the truth he cannot escape. You cannot rewrite her past. You cannot unlive her pain. You cannot bleach her memories until they fit your comfort. You can only choose to stand or to run. Every glance into her story tests you. Tests your patience, tests your pride, tests the quiet terror that perhaps you were never as strong as you thought. Men talk of love, few speak of presence, fewer still understand. Love without presence is cowardice in costume. Stoic wisdom strips the lies away. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Epictetus. A man can say, I love her, yet tremble when faced with the life she has lived. A man can say, I will stay, yet falter the moment her past whispers louder than his courage. Presence is not proven in comfort. It is proven in discomfort, in the silent battle between running and remaining, and the truth few dare admit. She does not need a man to erase her past. She needs a man who is bigger than it. The woman forged in fire. Not every woman survives her story, but the one who does becomes something few men are ready to meet. She is not soft. She is not fragile. She is not waiting to be saved. She has already walked through the burning cities of her own past. She has watched the walls collapse, felt the ground betray her feet, heard the silence of abandoned hopes, and she still stands. The hidden power of a woman's past is not a list of sins, not a trail of broken hearts, not a catalog of regrets. It is the unbreakable core that remains after everything else has burned away. Stoic wisdom does not pity her, it honors her. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Fire tests gold, adversity tests the strong. The woman who has been tested and who refused to become bitter is not weaker for it. She is dangerous in the most sacred sense, dangerous to illusions, dangerous to comfort, dangerous to men who still live small inside themselves. To love her is to rise or to be burned away." The illusion of purity, a man's hidden battle. There is a war no one speaks about, not in the streets, but inside the heart of every man. A war between what is real and what is easy to believe. Men are taught to worship purity, to chase the untouched, the unscarred, the unbroken, as if innocence were the guarantee of loyalty, as if untested hearts made better companions. But reality is brutal. Innocence is not proof of loyalty. Purity is not a promise of love. And history is not a curse to be feared. The true enemy is not her past. It is the cowardice that refuses to face life as it is. Stoic warriors knew this. A shield untested in battle is no shield at all. A soul untested in sorrow is no soul to trust. Marcus Aurelius stood on blood-soaked fields, and still found the strength to say, accept whatever comes woven in the pattern of your destiny. He did not ask the world to be clean. He chose to be strong enough to walk through it. A man obsessed with purity is not seeking love. He is seeking safety. And love was never built for the safe. To chase perfection is to wage war against the nature of life itself. A war every man will lose. Building a future beyond ghosts. You cannot love half a woman. You cannot build half a life. To love her is to love the road she walked before you, the storms she survived, the broken bones of trust she had to mend herself. It is not about accepting her past like a favor. It is about respecting it like a foundation. If you cannot respect the bricks she laid with blood and tears, you are not ready to build anything with her. There is no clean slate, no untouched soul, no reset button, only two warriors, each carrying scars, choosing to forge something stronger. Not despite their past, but because of them. Stoic wisdom demands this reality. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. If you demand a woman without history, you will find a woman without strength. If you demand a life without trials, you will live a life without meaning. Build not from fantasy, build from what is real, even if it is messy, even if it is complicated, because only what is real can endure. And a future worth living is never haunted by the ghosts of fear. It is built by those who dare to stare fear down and walk forward anyway. A man does not prove his strength by choosing a woman without a past. He proves it by standing beside a woman who has lived, who has lost, who has risen again. To walk forward without erasing her footprints, that is strength, that is love, that is life unafraid.